Hey guys, welcome to the next video. This one I'm going to show a demonstration of a new technique that I've been working on how to make landforms. And I really like this technique because it gives you a real good texture to add ground foam and other things to. And you end up with a really nice looking terrain to add bushes and trees and things like that. And I like this technique a lot better than using plaster and stuff because you don't end up, one, using a whole lot of plaster that I find very messy and adds a lot of unnecessary weight to the layout. This one primarily uses foam or some type of understructure and quilted batting, actually. This is the stuff that people used to put inside quilts. And I found that it actually works out quite well. I've tried both. It comes in a low loft and a high loft. And I found the low loft works out quite well. And so you can see on the layout here, I've already sort of set up my mountain profile for my terrain. These are actually sort of hills instead of mountains. But I've set them up, and then I'm going to cover them with the batting and end up with a really nice looking texture to then apply scenery to. So let me show you how that's done. Okay, so when you take your batting out, it comes on a long thing. And what you do is you lay it out and cut it to sort of shape and drape over your landform. And I've already done that with this piece here. And this will Okay, so now once you've got this all cut and figured out where you want it, the next thing you have to do is glue it down. I actually use Mod Podge to glue mine down. You can use Elmer's glue too, most likely. Haven't tried that, but I'm sure it would work. I just like this because it's a super matte finish when it dries. It's nice and clear, and it is very adhesive. Works good on multiple surfaces and stuff. If you are going to pick this up, they make a couple different kinds of Mod Podge. It also comes in a gloss. You don't want to buy that. And comes in some that only glues or is designed to glue paper to paper and everything. You don't want that. You just want the general regular matte Mod Podge. But it's really good stuff. Not too expensive. Again, you can get it at craft stores and things. If you want to try white glue, I'm sure that'll work as well. But you take that, you're going to cover this whole surface in glue, and then once that is got enough glue on it, you'll cover it back up with your loft batting, and then it'll be in place. When you're applying the glue, go ahead and do it rather generously. Make sure you get it on all the horizontal and vertical surfaces and everywhere, because you want to make sure that when you put your batting back on top of it, it's actually glued down as best you can. Otherwise, it'll sort of float in some areas, and you don't really want that. Okay, so once that's all covered in glue, then you lay your batting back on top. When you're putting the batting back on, make sure you go ahead and push it down into the glue, and then you're going to want to go over the surface and everything and make sure that you've actually got the contours that you want. Don't just sort of roughly drape it over to where it looks like a sheet hanging on top. Go ahead and push it and hold it down to where it gets into the glue and is lined up the way you like it and has the right terrain contours. On the batting, if you have to end up piecing multiple pieces together in order to cover an area, that's not a problem at all. You can just glue it right to itself and everything. You can overlap it a little bit or just butt the two pieces right up against each other. Once you apply the paint and the stirring materials to it, it'll just completely disappear that seam, and it will almost look seamless. And then you're going to want to let the glue dry, and once it's dry, then go ahead and paint it. And I just used the same brown latex paint that I've used for the other dirt surfaces on my layout, and the batting actually sucks up a lot of paint, so you're going to want to put a real thick heavy coat on, and you can't just brush it on. You have to kind of dab it down in there, or else it sits right on the top surface, and you want to make sure it gets down in there where you can't see any of the white down below. So it does take a couple coats, but a whole brush load of paint is only going to cover a few square inches, so it takes a little while to paint, but it gives you a really nice looking surface. Now this paint will actually take quite a while to dry, but that's actually good because the scenery technique that I'll show you sort of in my next video, it starts with the wet paint. If you go ahead and start putting your scenery materials down on top of the wet paint, and that adds
that sort of that first layer of adhesive, as well as the batting actually provides a good texture for the ground foam and things to adhere to. So like I said, I really like this technique. I like how it looks. I think it's very economical, goes on quickly, and is very flexible. On the batting, there will be some spots probably where you get some of these folds and things. That's fine. Just make sure that you go ahead and get paint on the underside of the fold and everything, and then you can, if you want it to look like a rise in the earth and everything, that's fine. If you want to kind of hide it, then you can just build up the area right around it with the ground foam when you start laying that down, and kind of mask it some. But like I said, I really like this technique. I think I'm going to use it even on areas where I'm not going to have hills and mountains and things. Just on the normal flat areas, go ahead and glue this down, and it'll provide a better base, I think, rather than just the straight foam. So that's how I make my terrain forms now. Like I said, I've used lots of other techniques out there, and some of them are very good and everything. I just happen to like this one a little bit better because like I said, I wanted to get away from the plaster and some of the mess, and I wanted something that gave a little bit better bite when I started putting scenery down, and looked a little better rather than just flat foam or even carved foam or something. And so, as I mentioned, from here, now what I would do is start applying my scenery, because I think this is a fantastic base to where you start applying multiple textures of different scenery elements and things, and you can make some really fantastic scenes with it and stuff. So with that, it's going to wrap up this video. So I hope you liked it. Like I said, I'll do a follow-on video showing the actual technique I use for my bushes and grasses and things. So look for that. And in the meantime, keep running your trains, keep enjoying them, and I'll catch you at the next video.